take care of your mental health, because when you get to success, you need to be whole when you get there. It's great to be successful, but like, how do you show up once you are successful? Are you whole? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to lose my soul or my mind to do anything.
Yeah.
Now, that said, like, I'm all in. I go 120% all the time with everything I do, but I can't, like, I've been on the other side of that. I've seen what it looks like. It's not pretty. It's not good. I'm just not, I choose not to do it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Alone Together, the podcast for solo GPs. I say this every week. I say I'm excited for this conversation, but this one is true. We got history, man. We got James Oliver from Kabila, and Kabila is a multifaceted aspect. Kabila Ventures, Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund, an author, Burn Bright, Not Out. And I am so excited to talk about all of these things. This is long overdue. So thank you, man, for coming on the show. You've had me on your spaces, and I'm so excited to return the favor.
Yeah, man, I've had you on my spaces. You wrote a phenomenal chapter in the book. As you mentioned at the top, it's called Burn Bright, Not Out, Shattering the Silence Around Mental Health and Tech Startups. The chapter was great, man. It was very inspiring. Thank you for that.
No, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And it was like typical Mike Ma fashion. I was late getting it in, and I had to like write you. I was like, oh snap, like, hey, can I want to do this. Like, and you're like, oh, I don't know, man. So thank you
We
for
were wrapping
keeping
it up, and I was like, you said you wanted to do it. I was like, all right, cool. We'll hold space for you. And I'm so glad that you did and we did.
Let's start there. I'll go first. Like, I struggle with mental health. In fact, no, man, mental health's a real thing. Like, I literally just wrapped up before this call. I finished up my therapy session. This stuff is serious, man. And this is why you and I always gravitate towards each other. Let's just start there. Why founder mental health and you? Why do all these words belong in the same sentence? Yeah. Tell me the story. How did this become your life's work? Because I know it's your life's work. I know you care. You're not here slinging books just to like try and do something.
No,
this is deep to you. Can you tell me and the audience, like, why? How did this become your life's work?
So, like, it goes back to 2013. So when I was living in Northeast Wisconsin, and I launched my first tech startup. It's called WeMontage. I was a non-technical solo founder, and we built some custom software back then that would let you turn your digital images into removable photo wallpaper. And it's a brilliant product. You could take pictures from your iPhone and cover a whole wall. It was amazing. And on my own, I got it on the Today Show 3 times, Good Morning America, Money Magazine, DIY Network, Martha Stewart's blog, on and on and on. But, side note for founders, like, PR does not equal cash flow, so quit wasting your time chasing that. It doesn't. It's not going to solve your customer acquisition. The product was brilliant, but ultimately, we raised just enough money to fail. But, it never caught on, man. And I just gave it everything I had. Like, I cleaned out my savings, went through an accelerator, and, 2 days before I was starting an accelerator, my twins were born 3 months early. They weighed 2 pounds apiece. I was driving back and forth to the accelerator 2 hours, each way, and in and out of the NICU. It's just nuts, man. So that was my introduction to entrepreneurship and parenthood, right? 1,000 miles from friends and family in Wisconsin. I went through Generator, the second cohort ever. And so the startup was failing eventually. And when the startup was failing, my mental health was failing. And so the startup failed, kid's mom filed for divorce, right? So I got all this stuff going on. I didn't have access to really good mental health resources. And I just can't help but wonder, like, if I did, like, maybe the story for that startup was called WeMontage would have been different. So I've been through it. I know what it is. And I know that, it's a commonly known data point that 72% of founders, I think that comes from Startup Snapshot, I think 72% of founders are struggling with some aspect of their mental health. the problem is many of them are doing it in silence.
Mhm,
There's a lot of
mhm,
stigma around it. I started a nonprofit with Brad Feld's help. Brad's Techstars co-founder over at Foundry. Brad's a good friend. I built this community for Black parents who are entrepreneurs, and one of the things that I did there was we paid for mental therapy, and this was remarkable because ultimately I paid for about 400 mental therapy sessions, and in the Black community historically Black folks don't go to the therapists, right? There's like this love-hate relationship with mental therapists and psychologists for a variety of reasons that I won't get into now. But typically they won't. They just kind of sweep it under the rug, act like it's not a problem, go talk to the pastor, but we're not going to see therapists. And what was cool about that community is anytime I would drop like a type form and say, hey, we got 5 slots this week, within 20 minutes, that thing was full. And it was amazing because then these parents who are entrepreneurs, these Black parents who are entrepreneurs, like,
mhm,
were coming
mhm,
back and they're like, yo, this was amazing. It helped me this way. It's helping my family. It's helping my startup. I'm like, okay, this is important. It's relevant. So fast forward a couple years. And so I'm going through VC lab. First time fund manager. Look, I mean, smart enough. I mean, I got in, graduated Phi Beta Kappa from Morehouse College. Woo, whatever.
Morehouse man.
Whatever. Got my MBA from UNC Chapel Hill. Woohoo! Like nobody cares, right? Whatever. But like I'm just saying, like I'm smart, right? Have a background in accounting, finance, sales, all this shit, right? Startups. Um, and so things are going pretty well. I'm, trying to, make sure I can raise enough money, get enough hard LOIs, as hard commits as they call it, VC lab, which is basically these signed LOIs. And so I could get to a first close and pull down at least 750K and keep going and raise the rest of the fund. And I was doing pretty well. And I was like, okay, I'm on track. And then the new administration came in and I just felt like I had a brick wall and had experience with mental therapy. And I was recognizing the signs of my brains being scrambled. And the two most important things for me, Mike, and I know at least one of these is really important. Well, both of these are probably really important for you too. My two most important things every morning when I wake up and, before I turn on my phone, I just silently say, like, I am a great dad and I am a great husband. Those are the two most important things for me. And I'm like, if my brains get scrambled, I won't be able to do either one of those things. And if I can't do either one of those things, boy, oh boy, it's going to go downhill really fast.
mhm,
So, and because I have a therapist and I know how to compartmentalize and can control the things that I can control, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a pin in Kabila Ventures fundraising for now because, as I said, my brains are getting scrambled. And I was reminded of there was a slide in the fund deck, founder value add. That's one of the slides that they think
mhm,
you add in
mhm.
VC Lab. And on the slide, I said I'm going to provide mental wellness resources for my co-founders, and I meant that. And I knew that I would do that by spinning up a nonprofit. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put a pin in this fundraiser right now because my brains are just, I'm not doing well. It's basically what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But let me control what I can control. I can go do this. And, maybe in the process of this, I can connect with some potential LPs. This indirect route maybe takes longer, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But in the meantime, I still am making impact, doing some good, and protecting my mental health. So I went and I started up the Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund. Uh, Reached out to Brad. He gave me $25,000 grant from Anchor Point Foundation. It's his foundation. And then David Cohn from Techstars
Mhm,
CEO. He found some money from that Techstars Foundation, and we're providing mental therapy grants for some Techstars founders. This is all for founders who want therapy but can't afford it. And so we pay for 4 virtual mental health sessions on BetterHelp, or if they have their own therapist, we'll reimburse up to $300 for founders. So I'm like, this is something I can do. Let me make an impact and keep my mental health intact until I'm like, all right, I'm ready to start fundraising again. So that's why I started that. And then once I got that going, and we've helped about 50 founders already. I was having a conversation with, I don't know, do you know Daryl Frater? I bet you
mhm, of
probably know
course.
Daryl.
Dale
Yeah.
Frater.
So Daryl introduced me to a guy, Django, degree. So Django had a startup called Focus on Words, is an AI book platform. He does interviews,
Yeah, he's
and
great.
then he takes the interviews and he sends his AI agents out, and the agents turn the interview into book chapters.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him and I was like, I think I got another book in me. I wrote a book back in 2017, but I think I got another book in me. And I think I want to write another book about how to help overlooked founders increase their social capital, because I'm just seeing people not always moving in the most optimal way, put it that way.
Mhm.
So I'm talking with him, and at the end of the call, he was just expressing how much he loves, feels he understands the importance of mental health. And he was talking about the nonprofit that I have. And I was like, you know what? Why don't we write a book about founder mental health?
Yeah.
Right. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Right. So that's what we did. And we just reached out to some founders, investors, including yourself. And, David wrote the foreword, Brad wrote a phenomenal chapter. And the book is remarkable. And, we're talking about this beforehand, but, I like to refer to this book as the most important book about founder mental health ever written. So folks might say, well, that's hyperbolic. And I'm saying, well, look, no shade to the other important books about founder mental health ever written. This is the only one for which, 90% of the net profits, from which 90% of the net profits go back to the nonprofit that actually solves the problem.
You talk about mental health, and
Mhm.
I'm just curious. Well, I'm going to share my view on it, what I share with Django, which is in the book. And I'd love your commentary, both for what you think about founders and why this is so important. I think, particularly in the time of like AI and all this and like capital. And first, and then I'd love your thoughts about this as a GP, because this is a story very much about GPs, and this pod is about that. And then I want to talk about like venture stuff later, if that's cool with you. We can get into that at a broad level. The when I talk with Django, right? The title of the chapter I wrote, which is "You Are Your Startup, You Are Not Your Startup." And man, at least for me, it is hard to hold both those things at true. You got to hold on so tight, and you got to make this everything, and then you have to be able to like hold space for yourself and mode switch and take care and go to therapy, go to the gym, have dinner with your kids and your love, and bro, that's hard. It sounds so stupid, like, "Oh, of course you should do that," but, when you're a first player in the game, it is so crushing to have both these forces, and I mean that word literally, it's crushing.
Mhm.
Um, I that was what I wanted to contribute, uh, to the book, and I'm curious about your thoughts about this as you hear and look at this and all the different parts of the book, how that responds and what you know of working with all these founders. I don't think they share with exactly what's happening in the sessions, but with the impact that you're having by drawing a light on founder mental health. As you worked with all these founders and
Yeah.
this idea of like holding space and not holding space, how does that resonate like with your experience in facilitating all this mental health help with founders? Like how do you interpret, why is this so hard? What is so special about, I mean, everyone's got mental health problems, right? What is so unique and intense about the founder experience that you've learned? I'm sharing my little vantage point on it.
Bro.
Like why is this a
Mm.
thing? I guess maybe is a question, and
Right.
how did you come to that
We
idea?
don't curse in your podcast, right? We don't,
No, we
right?
can find a way to put both.
No,
You you
I'm
you
not
do
gonna
you, man.
I'm not gonna
Listen,
curse.
I tell everyone, be
I'm not gonna
you.
curse.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
I'm not gonna do it. Look, it's just really freaking hard. I mean, it just is. I mean, you hear no all day and then don't have a family, right? And trying to go from 0 to 1. It takes so much energy to create something, and you're hearing no all day. It's hard, and it's like you were talking about, "You're not your startup, you are your startup." Yeah, and it's like none of it's personal, but all of it's personal, because if you don't sell some stuff, you can't feed your kids, right? If you got kids. So, it's you can't take it personally. And this is where I think having a good therapist and having a really high degree of self-awareness, having that tool in your toolkit comes in handy because when you feel yourself taking things personally, you're like, all right, I'm doing that. That's not going to help me. Maybe I need to go ride my bike or go for a walk. I mean, after we get done with this podcast, I'm going to ride my bike. I mean, that's the one thing that I do to keep my energy clean, to stay open to inspiration. So I could hear that still small voice telling me to go do this and I go do that versus throwing a bunch of spaghetti against the wall and, wasting time that way. But yeah, it's just hard, man. It's hard, man. You deal with found it. And eh, I think you said in your book, or I heard you say, like, you are so deeply invested in every single founder that you back, but you know that the overwhelming majority of them are going to fail.
Yep.
And you don't want to take that person because you love all of them.
Yep.
So how do you square that circle?
I cry. In fact, I just had my AGM, and I choked up in the middle of my talk about how much I care about my founders.
Yeah,
I'm all in on my founders. I
yeah.
think I square it
It doesn't matter. Most of them are
by
still
giving
going to
them.
fail.
Yeah, well, I really think like it's about the journey, right? If I back the journey, that's how I square it. Like I'm all in on the journey, right? And I'm here with you.
And the
Uh,
process. We have to
yeah.
learn to love the process. It reminds me of Carol
Yes.
Ledecky, that Olympic swimmer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She won all those gold medals, and she was like, "Yeah, everybody wants to win a gold medal, but everybody doesn't love getting up at 4 a.m. and spending hours in the pool. Not everybody's getting excited when they can shave 1/100th of a second off their time." She's like, "You have to learn to love the process," and that's
Yeah,
kind of where I am trying to get to as well.
yeah, yeah. This sets up the second question is like, okay, GPs are a special case of founders, right? What is the difference between the mental health, if any, challenges that you've been a founder as well as
Mhm.
as a GP, and you are like we're all in different parts of that journey.
Okay.
What's the difference that you think between those two in terms of mental health in
Uh,
starting those different enterprises?
I mean, I'm in a unique situation. Not I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people out there who've been operators and now, VCs, but I it's the same. I mean, it's the same. Like
Oh,
going out to raise money from LPs and no, 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 man. That it wears on you the same. It's the same. I just told you that, like, I'm on your podcast alone together. All these people who listening to this who have successfully raised their fund, closed their fund, and I'm saying I had to put a pin in my fundraising efforts because I was not doing well. Some people might be like, "Oh, what a punk," right? "Oh, what a wuss. Oh, he's never gonna close." Whatever. Like, at the end of the day, I told you my 2 priorities are my wife and my kids,
mhm.
and I have to be able to show up effectively for them, and it's like Nisha Devadass said in her chapter, and I'm paraphrasing here poorly, but she said, "It's great to be successful, but, like, how do you show up once you are successful? Are you whole?" Like,
Yeah,
I'm not willing to lose my soul or my mind to do anything.
yeah,
Now, that said, like, I'm all in. I go 120% all the time with everything I do, but I can't, like, I've been on the other side of that. I've seen what it looks like. It's not pretty. It's not good. I'm just not, I choose not to do it.
yeah. So let me build on that. What was there a definitive moment where you like, nope, this is literally killing me? Was there a moment or was there like a slow burn of events? What kind of led you to that decision?
Well, thankfully, I never got to the point where I felt like it was killing me because I have some self awareness because I have a therapist, right? But I could see the signs of the slow burn that you just mentioned. And like, I've been here before, and I know these demons. It's like, Brad Feld said in his chapter, like, I know these demons. And yeah, and I'm not trying to sit around the table with those demons. So, no,
Yeah,
there was nothing specific, but I could just tell because I have a certain level of self awareness that I need to put a pin in this and come back to it when I'm ready.
yeah.
And I will.
Do you have a vision of what that looks like? Or is that too far? Is that a field too far?
When I'm ready,
Yeah.
right now, I'm focused on raising money for the nonprofit so we could pay for mental therapy for more founders. I'm focused on making the book a national bestseller because this is a super important conversation. And because there's so much stigma around it, and founders think that they're not alone, I think that they are alone, they're not. I think it's
Mhm.
weak to talk about needing help. It's not, it's a sign of strength. And mental health is health. And, the thing about the book, man, it's not prescriptive. We're not telling people what to do.
Yeah, my
If it was
chapter
that,
was.
like we just would have talked to some neuroscientists and been done with it, right? This is how the brain works, do that. No, it's just we're talking to really remarkable humans, founders and investors sharing honest, raw, vulnerable, inspiring mental health journey stories and talking about what they do to take care of their mental health. So, like, look, do something. Does any of this resonate with you? Okay, go do that. Is that working for you? Awesome. But take care of your mental health because when you get
Mm.
to success, you need to be whole when you get there.
What should founders be doing? What should
Bro,
founders, if they're listening here right now, when they finish our podcast, what should they be doing or check if they're doing?
yeah. I mean, you got to take care of yourself. Therapy is not the panacea, right? Like,
Yeah.
what can we do upstream to keep you from having to go see a therapist in the first place?
Yeah.
So things like, meditation, mindfulness, using the Calm app, exercise, and all these things are things that founders could and should do. If you've never done anything before, try something. Talk to some friends who are founders, ask them what they're doing. But doing nothing, I don't think is a viable option because it's the slow burn. There's a chapter in the book. It was Nick Marriage's chapter, which was great. Like Nick sold his startup to Linktree. And then after he sold his successfully exited, he experienced burnout. And I'm reading this chapter. I'm like, wait, what? That's like so counterintuitive. So like it doesn't matter where you are in the journey, as I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You need to be mindful of your mental health and wellness. And so just do something. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what to do, but do something. I think I can point to like Brad's chapter in the book. Brad's very open about his depression and OCD challenges. And he's talked about that in the chapter and how he was just in this dark place. And he talks about how, just through therapy and how that's been a self revelatory experience for him and going to Planet Brad for once a week for an hour or whatever. And just a increased level of self awareness. And you look back over his life and the success kind of speaks for itself. So I don't know any specific founders, but I do wish that there were some kind of specific study that could point to that. And who knows, like maybe we raise a couple $1 million for the Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund and we go commission a study.
Yeah.
I would do it.
And I actually don't even think it need. I mean, like, one, that'd be amazing if you had like some clinical double blind,
Yeah.
study and all the things. But at the same time, like, and I think it'd be really powerful to have those stories collected. This is why I'm so proud to be part of the book. I'm
Yeah.
so proud to be part of it. But the book is really just a movement
Mhm.
in terms of trying to get people to talk about mental health. And I think collecting those stories is going to be. Not everything has to speak to the left brain and scatter plot our way into a
Bro,
good
I,
idea,
I
right?
agree. It's
Like,
common sense, right? It's so it's obvious.
yeah,
But how do we get more people to care?
yeah,
How do we get the founders to because I tell you, like, I talk to founders all the time, and that stat is 72% of founders are struggling with their mental health in some capacity. I'm like, I feel like 100% of the founders I talk to are like dealing with some crap, you know,
yep,
So, but how do we? And when I offer free therapy to them, like, there's various reasons why they won't take it, even though I just got the phone with them and I know they could use it. There's still a disconnect even on the founder side. So I just think and that's why, the subtitle is Shattering the Silence. We need to shatter the silence, erase the stigma. We have to keep talking about it. Leaders got to go first. People like you got to go first by writing your chapter and sharing your story. Why do you look at me like that? Because you're not a
yeah.
leader? Is that what you're
It's
doing?
funny. I no, I laugh because that's a firm statement. That's one of the things we say is like you want to be a good partner, go first. That I was laughing because it's literally one of if you ask Chad, Francesca, Rajan, who work with me every day, like That is a firm mantra. That's why I'm laughing. That's it.
Oh, yeah, man. You gotta go first, and you went first, and people like, me and other folks that, I keep talking about, they've gone first, and we just need more people going first. So,
Let me pivot to some of the GP stuff. Like, what made you want to starting a fund, right? And walk me through the thesis around. And I know some of it, but for the betterment of the audience, uh, about Kabila Ventures, in terms of where like what made you want to crack that egg open?
so a big part of what we're doing is really overlooked founders, right? And people out there have done that, doing that, and describing it in different ways. But really, it comes back to the data. When you have, these people with disparate backgrounds, in the room, people with chips on their shoulders, people who didn't necessarily go to the best schools, who not necessarily in New York or the Bay. Those are the people, and those are the people that not all the tier one firms are investing in, right? But those, you know, s- uh, they still have good outcomes in many instances. And the data historically shown that folks like I'm describing have historically given investors a 30% greater return, according to Kaufman Research Center. And then being a first time Black manager raising a fund one, that's like another thing that's separate to what, but being successful in that respect, kind of shatters whatever negative stereotypes go along with that, which make it harder for people like me to actually raise money and launch a fund one. So, I mean, there's a variety of reasons, but like, this is me. I have a network of thousands of overlooked founders. I am an overlooked founder, a multiple time, overlooked founder of tech startups. So that's it, man. That's why it's important. I believe that, overlooked founders, however you want to describe them, have the potential to provide outsized return. I have a lot of credibility in that space. And, for me, I have access to deal flow. I mean, whatever that's worth. That's probably an overused thing, guessing, but I have relationships, networks. So, but that's me, man. It just makes all the sense to me to do that because
Yeah,
I am that.
I appreciate you bringing up Overlook and I did notice you're Black. You know what? It's a big, I appreciate you opening the door for that. This is a reason why, like Kevin Moore from Sirac was the
Yep.
first person on the show. We've had Charles on,
Yeah.
Samara Hernandez. Like these are, it's really important to kind of look at that. And I want, for me, having this little pod, it's important to bring that to light because it's friggin' hard enough as it is, and it's hard. It's harder. I don't think anyone's gonna argue about that, in
Oh,
terms of
some
being.
people might, but like whatever. Like, I still got to go do the damn thing, right?
Yep.
I'm not focused on that. I'm not sitting around like, oh, woe is me. It simply is what it is.
Let me draw these two things together. How does your view of being and supporting overlooked founders and overlooked GP inform your work in mental health and vice versa? What is the intersect between these two passions for you?
I think that there are unique challenges that, let's just take like Black founders, for example,
Yeah,
right?
let's do it.
I mean, I had my first startup, I went through Techstars for my second startup. If you count nonprofits as startups, I guess you can. I don't know. Like, I've done that a couple times now. So I've, started up some things, and the thing so you've heard the expression, it's the jockey, not the horse, right?
Mhm.
And like, for me personally, I've experienced where, people are not necessarily approaching me with that mindset. They're like, they got their flashlight all down the horse's throat. They're like, oh, look at that cavity back there. I'm like, no, 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 wait, but I'm a really dope jockey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see that cavity back there. So I think it's different for um, some overlooked founder spaces, um, not just getting the benefit of the doubt, not just getting, having the credibility assumption right away. And I think that makes it harder.
Yeah.
And anytime things get harder, if you don't have good mental health hygiene, it's going to have more of an impact potentially on your mental wellness. So I think, a segment of people like that, you know, yeah, they need the support. Like, I think everybody needs support, like you said, but some people who are having incrementally more difficult challenges compared to some other people, they need the support.
Yeah.
And
I
just to be clear, like, we're supporting everybody with this nonprofit, not
yeah.
it's everybody. But you asked me a specific question about Overlook Founders, so that's my
No,
answer.
and I get it. Like, again, for those who don't know, like my last job in venture, I ran the HBCU Founders Fund. So spent plenty of time in Atlanta and
Yeah.
AUC, and
Well, I went to
w-
Morehouse, and I'm married to a
I
Spelman
do
woman.
know Spellman. I know Spell
Spellhouse,
House. I
Spellhouse.
spent time in Clark Works yourself
You
in
don't
there
know
too.
about Spellhouse. You don't stop.
I have been uh, anyway. Like, don't even like. So here's. I just want to bring this back to something, and this is something that that my founder said when I was running this, which I resonate with is um and I was I would always push them to like, hey, go bigger and try and like push the envelope,
Yeah.
and the resounding feedback is like, we can't do that. We can't make a mistake. Like, and I feel like I'm generalizing sentiments from having run two cohorts, which I think is fair, and I can share that experience because I lived it with them, and I appreciate them saying that, like, we can't make these mistakes. We do not get a pass, and so it was. I think for me, my observation, that is taxing. That is doubly taxing on someone's mental health,
It's
just to feel
taxing.
like you have to, and I think that burden, I think that burden needs a voice, and I think that I think this is a really, to me, that's what sits at that Venn diagram, of just
It's
feeling like
taxing
you can't.
AF,
Yep,
right? Yeah, but okay, and you still got to go out and do the damn thing.
yep, you still gotta do it.
You still got to do the damn thing
Numbers have to go up to the right, right? The
eventually.
hockey stick has to be the
At
hockey
some
stick.
point, yeah. Otherwise, you're done, right?
Since we're coming up on time, and you and I could chop it up
Oh
for
my God,
hours.
it's ridiculous.
Like, what's next for you? What's next for? I'm just going to talk about Kabila in whatever
Yeah,
instant, and what's
yeah,
up, James and Kabila, whatever form
yeah,
that may be,
yeah. So right now I'm super focused on the nonprofit. Make sure we can raise money so we can help. Look, I want to be able to help thousands of founders. Get free mental therapy, get access to wellness resources, to raise their level of self-awareness, to help them take better care of their mental health. And we want the book, like I said, to be a New York Times bestseller because we need to shatter the silence around mental health and tech startups. So that's what I'm focused on now. And as I mentioned, when I get clear that okay, it's time to let's go finish raising the fund and launch the fund, I'll do that.
yeah. Very cool. Well, listen, hey, I'm super supportive. I was so glad to sponsor chapter. I was, at my AGM, we gave out 20 of those books.
Oh my God, that was amazing! You bought
So
20 books,
hey,
and then
listen,
send me pictures of people with the book. So good.
I told you, I had sent you some. It's on the
You
internet.
did. You
Come on
did.
now. Hey, I appreciate you. What should people do if they want to get involved with mental health, Kabila?
Yeah.
Obviously, the book. Check the book on
Yeah.
Amazon. We'll put the link to in the comments of the show.
Okay.
The vast majority of the 96% or 90.
So we set
I
up
forget
as
the
90% of the book's net profits are going to go back to the nonprofit, but that's actually going to be changing here shortly. I'm just waiting to hear back from Kindle Direct Publishing, but 100% of the book's net profits are going to be going back to the nonprofit here in a minute. So there's the book. So you can put the link back to Amazon,
for sure.
and then they can visit KabilaMentalHealth.com if they want to be a donor. I mean, $175 basically pays for 2 virtual mental therapy sessions, but $25, 50, whatever, it all matters. Share the content on social media, help us raise awareness, like buy the book, take a picture, tag some people on some of my posts, connect with me on LinkedIn, please. I'd love that. I'm James Oliver Jr., but please send me a note that you heard me on the podcast with Mike. I'm a bit of a LinkedIn snob. The amount of connection request and DM that I get for like no logical reason. You know what I'm talking about? So please
For
send me
sure.
a note that you found me here, and I'll be delighted to connect with you and chop it up if you want. Yeah, just connect, help us amplify the work. Read the book, read Mike's chapter. Mike's chapter is incredible. He actually inspired me to go do something that I've been too scared to do from reading his chapter. So thank you for that, Mike. And bro, like I met you a couple months ago, and I'm just really honored to know you and delighted to meet you. And we're gonna get together in person here at some point and chop it up. Like if you ever come to Atlanta, you come to my house. Do you eat? Do you like to cook for me, eat food on the grill?
Let's do it.
I got a badass smoker thing out there, man. I'll fire that thing up. We'll just have a great time.
It's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I love coming down to Atlanta. And so thanks so much for coming on. I consider the honor mine, to have you in my orbit. And, um, I really appreciate you coming on a podcast about solo GPs and showing where you are in the journey, because here's the thing, man, this whole thing's a journey, right? We
Mhm.
got people, all parts of it, and we're all out here, like you said, doing the thing.
That's a pretty
And
vulnerable thing to do, isn't it?
it's incredible. This is what this show's about, and
Yeah,
this
but
is what you're about, and this is
100%.
why we're here, and this is
Yeah,
why you and I have a bond, and
yeah,
I am eternally grateful for you. I'm so blessed to be a donor, an author,
yeah.
a reader, and a friend of yours. And thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for being in my universe. I'm grateful for you. Please, listeners, check out all this work, Kabila. And even if you don't, take care of your health, take care of your mental health, take care of someone else's.
Yeah,
We get all wrapped up in DPI and TVPI and all
yeah.
this crap. At the end of the day, we do this job because we love people
Mhm.
and we love what they're building. So thank you for coming
100%.
on. I think it's going to be really a great episode, and I'm so appreciative of you coming by.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care. Until next time, please like and subscribe. Alone Together, we're doing season 2, and we will see you next time.